Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our neck of the woods. How's everybody doing today? Right on, Bonnie. Hey, I know there's only a few of you in here, but for all the that watch this later, Bonnie Phillips, if you haven't checked out her channel, go check it out. She's awesome. And you are welcome, Miss Bonnie, to drop your link in chat if you'd like for everyone. I did really enjoy that drive and the fishing spot video. Hi, Anna. Good to see you. So, what do you guys want to do today? We've been working on fixing some electrical things that we had going on at the house. So if the camera goes dark, I'll just turn it off and keep talking. I really don't have anything to talk about today, guys. So anybody that would like to come on up and chat, you guys are welcome. You know, um, I know everybody's all excited about all the different things going on, and they're all depressed about other things that aren't going on that they wish were going on. And I kind of just want to keep it upbeat, you know.
One thing we know is going on.
What's that?
Hey, one thing we know is going on. Just can't stop the storm. Can't stop what's coming.
Yeah, Jeff just said one thing we know that's going on is you just can't stop what's coming. So, uh, very good point.
I know it is.
So I hope this finds everyone well today. Hi, Pappy, Monty, Anna, Bonnie, everyone, anyone out there in listener land, la la land. I've been doing some research into. There's these fellas in Australia who are doing origins research, and I got to tell you, it's pretty amazing stuff. Um, I think we hear over time. We always hear about those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it, and we don't know our history. Um, we know what they've told us, but we don't know our history. And I think the key to our future does lie in our past to some extent. So I'm really excited about the journey I'm on in that. Uh, yeah, sweet potatoes are really nutritious. There's a lot of vegetables where you can eat the greens.
Hi.
Yeah, there's turnips, parsnips. Those are really underestimated crops. They're very tasty, and you can eat the greens and all. You can harvest the greens while they're growing, while they're still in the ground, like a lot of root vegetables. Um, everybody saying hi, Raina.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Bonnie.
So yeah, those are they're really tasty, and they will. There are certain ones that vegetables that you can grow and you can overwinter them in place, like Jerusalem artichokes. I think parsnips you can too. I think you can overwinter them right in the ground. And there are a lot of different methods for overwintering right in the ground without having to have a root cellar or something like that. All right. So, does anybody want to come up and chat? You guys want to just hang out today? Um, that's fine if you do. It's fine if you don't. What's that?
Okay.
I should have got more coffee before I started the show. Sorry, guys. Everything's in a shambles because of us reworking some of the house and stuff. So Jeff's been hard at work getting our electricity stuff today, so he's taking a small break. Well, thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate you. Oh, I called the post office this morning, and it's just left Texas last night. So, just so you know, I just want to make sure. See, out here in Amish country, and this is what a lot of people don't know, is that out here, the addresses don't go in a row. A lot of numbers are out of whack from where they should be, and the same is true on our hill. So, hey, good morning, Robert. Yeah, Pappy, a lot of root vegetables can be stored in buckets, sawdust. Yep. They can be kept in sand. Jeff's hammering in the background, Frank. Sorry about that. Like I said, we're getting some of the house stuff done, and we're getting some things finished up before winter gets here. I saw Lake Ferry this a little while ago had posted they were calling for rain out her way, and she was getting little ice balls coming down. Thanks, Frank. So yeah, I had nothing planned today. I've been my mind has been elsewhere, and we're actually thinking about taking a break or just keeping it simple, real simple for a little while. Well, it's what day of the week is it? It is Wednesday. Oh, next Monday maybe. Well, I will let you know. That way you know. Yeah, if it may be a very short show indeed today, if nobody wants to come up and I don't know what you're saying. Thank you for Aaron, but welcome and okay. Thank you. You're welcome. I don't know what for, but okay. So yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? What about different methods of preparing your vegetables to keep for winter? Dehydration has always been one of my go-tos. Freezer. Afternoon, Brian. I want to start trying to do ferments, though. That's something I'm very interested in because the process of fermenting. All right, Anna, have a great day, hon. The process of fermenting actually increases the medicinal values and the nutrient values in your food, in a lot of foods. So I'm probably going to get into doing that, and I'm hoping to be able to do some videos, and I'll probably end up pre-recording them, and then we'll play them on a live or something like we did with Jeff's yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. About a minute into that 3 minutes of yesterday, Jeff had done a video on coiling copper wire. Copper tubing. Sorry, copper tubing, so it doesn't kink. And I really loved the idea that he came up with. I thought that was grand because everybody else likes to fill them up with sand or other material and then do it so it doesn't kink. And there are so many different ways to do it, and this was just something that was way simpler. There's no sand in that tubing, and he was able to coil it pretty well with no kinking. So I thought that was pretty ingenious. Yeah. Well, I figured you would let them know about that when you get it all done up and show them. Hey, LHS, good to see you. So yeah, if anybody wants to come up and chat, you come up and chat, or I might just I don't want to cut the show short. I know you guys like hanging out and chat with each other, and that's great. I love that. I love that we have that. But I got a lot of things to get done too, so no, Frank, it's not a still. What he's doing is he's making the copper coil in order to put it to the pool so we can have a heated pool, so that we'll be able to utilize the benefits of that through the winter and everything too, because our well is about 200 feet down, so it's really nice, fresh, crisp, cold water. So that pool is cold pretty much darn near all year round. Robert, you had your coffee yet? Can you come up and talk? So yeah, lots of things going on here, which hopefully we'll be able to show you guys some of the stuff that we've done as we get it completed. Hello, Dawn. Good to see you. Awesome.
What goes you all?
How you doing this morning?
Shit together.
Yeah, me too.
They
No,
sent.
good.
They had to send. Remember, I told you Corlin's tooth wasn't doing good.
Mm-hmm.
So out of nowhere, they made an appointment for today. So she's gone. Left us in a mess.
Slept right through it.
Yes, I did. Yeah, she left and then I just got up.
I couldn't even find anybody hanging out late last night. I was like, where'd everybody go? Oh yeah, there went the lights.
Bonnie put in a couple of videos, fishing hole.
Yeah, I watched them. I went over and watched them. I was like, cool. And then I was just kind of waiting for somebody to pop up so we could all get together.
Yeah, I popped in Gigi's, and if she doesn't start, she might have one tonight, I guess.
Okay. I didn't even see that she was live. We kept checking.
I was studying until I passed out last night again.
That's about right. Sounds about right.
Nothing wrong with going to sleep with them dreams.
Yeah. I want to look more into the rings that guy found.
Yeah.
Man, and those rocks are something amazing.
Rex interviewed Paul.
Oh yeah. Well, that's where I got introduced to Paul Wallace, was through Rex Bear on Leak Project.
What's that? That was a long one.
Yeah.
You did good. You're good. Yes. Here.
Yeah. He's done a couple Paul Wallace interviews. He just did one the other day, actually. And man, I tell you what, a dream collaboration for me would be to see, like, well, I said it to you last night, right? I want to see the two Australian fellas, the Strong, Stephen and Evan Strong, Paul Wallace, Praveen Mohan, because I think that dude has some keys too to help unlock all this mystery. And then who else? Paul Wallace, the Australian guys, Praveen, and who else did I say?
Michael Tellinger.
Michael Tellinger. Now, I would add actually Rex Bear to that, because he has been finding some super awesome glyphs out in the desert, out around the Grand Canyon and stuff.
And then icing on the cake would be Pappy.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic. Man, that would be a heck of a conversation. I just want to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, I don't have to say nothing.
Right.
That'd be a good
That would be a great conversation. Hey, Ruck.
What's going on down there?
Oh, Jeff's redoing some of the electrical stuff today in the house. So, you and me sitting in the dark.
Wow. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Ship Kicker. Hey, Pappy. Dawn. LS.
Hi, Celtic. Where are you? I'm not seeing everybody pop in for some reason. I don't know what's going on here.
Celtics in there.
There he
Monty.
is. I see him now. Hey, Mutt. Good to see you, man. I'm glad to see you.
Bonnie.
Just so you know.
Rocksteady. I think I got everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
What?
Dorinda, she just popped in. Hey, Dorinda.
Miranda, come on up.
Robert hasn't had his coffee yet, and I didn't pre-plan any conversation at all, which I don't usually, but at least I usually have something to start with. Today I didn't. I'm reaching that point of cognitive dissonance, and I'm feeling like I need to draw away again, and I don't really want to do that, but I'm feeling the need to, so I may have to. Because I got so much stuff just going on in there, man. Just whoo, synapses.
I heard people talking about putting stuff away and saving stuff.
Mm.
It just paid off for me to stash some pain pills. I had to get into my stash, and because the medical here is crazy. So I gave her a couple pain pills last night, or yesterday and then last night, so she could at least get some sleep,
Yeah.
But that paid off to save those and just put them aside for emergency. Make sure you have medicine on you for emergency.
And if you have medicine that requires refrigeration, have an alternative means to refrigerate it or keep it cool.
That paid off for me.
You could dig a hole in the ground. This is one way. Like if you don't live by a running water source, you can dig a hole in the ground and pop a 5-gallon bucket down in there and put water in it, and it'll stay cold enough to keep your diet, like insulin, right? Insulin has to be refrigerated. So if you guys, that's something to think about. And I know we've never covered that, but yeah, medicine. Have your backups. If you've got, yes, Mutt, I did, and I really wasn't sure how to even respond to that. I thought that the beauty of this was that we all had differences of opinion, and yet we could still have discussions about it. And so I was a bit taken aback and a bit upset, and I didn't want to answer your email in that frame of mind. So I will answer it. I just haven't done it yet for that reason. We will definitely keep Shelly Dizdar.
Who's that?
Nancy popped in with asking us to pray for Shelly Dizdar. She was just moved to intensive care, and her husband went last week, huh? Yep, we will be. We will be. We'll keep them in our thoughts and prayers. We certainly will. Yes, Mud, I did.
Yeah. And this is the open.
All right, Dawn.
This is the open mind channel.
Free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Exactly.
There's so many ways that they have told us truths that we have not even begun to understand.
I know. Look how doggone happy I am knowing some truth. I love it. Sorry. It don't take much to excite me anymore.
NC girl, you changed your name, girl?
Who?
NC Girl changed her name to NC Girl, which is what I always call her anyway, but
Oh,
North
yeah.
Carolina Girl.
I can just say,
Mutt, we're going to
girl.
keep you in our thoughts and prayers too, you guys. Keep Mutt in your thoughts and prayers too. He has a surgery tomorrow as well. So you guys, actually, you know what? You guys got to send out that love light energy to everybody. Our entire planet is still hurting, but still striving. And all we can do is strive upward, right? And I think we do that with love. You guys have heard me say that a million times. And I'll probably say it a million more. So just tell me to shut up when you get sick of it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I want to thank Bonnie, and I want to thank Gigi. I want to thank you guys for giving us a place to go at night.
Heck yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, we almost popped up one last night, and then I thought, no, I really don't want to do that. But I didn't even know if anybody was looking for a place to be last night. I was like, it must be like a collective. Honey, do you need a hand?
Oh, and I want to tell you, when was it? If it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. There was an energy change. Okay? Oh, and I want to tell you, when was it? Not from me. Yesterday, it was the day before. There was an energy change. Okay?
Hi, Bonnie. You're echoing.
He's echoing like a...
I fixed it. It's good.
You know what? Okay, I'm sitting here, same spot I do every day. I felt a vibration, energy, frequency change, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because it took like maybe 10 seconds. I looked to the left. Edge comes out barking, and he wasn't barking like he normally does, right? You know. He barked like 3 times, came outside. And I was like, wow, he felt it too. He had to have. It was the exact same time I was feeling it. He was in there barking and came out. So it's definitely an energy change.
Or bears.
No bears.
No, Robert, you're right. There was a major shift in energy, and I felt it in a different way. I didn't feel it like you felt it. I felt it like I woke up this morning. Actually, right before I went to bed last night, it was almost like I was feeling apathetic. Like I had almost no feeling whatever, like whatsoever. And I was like, whoa, this isn't quite right.
It's kind of like that's what I felt last night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Same.
Kind of
That's why I
apathetic.
didn't do it live.
Just like turned off from everything, right?
Yes, so I was going to say, it's like get a hold of Bonnie and see if she's going on, or I didn't get a hold of you either, huh? I was just like numb.
Yeah.
Just let it ride.
And it was like, whoa. It had me, like, I literally had to draw back. I wasn't even going to bring that up because I thought it was just me. No. I'm glad to know I wasn't alone.
No, you were not. And that's,
Edge was with us, man. He felt it too. That's crazy.
I was going to do a live, and I was sitting there ready to click on it, and I was like, I really don't want to. And I went over to Gigi's, and I said, really? Because she was scheduled for last night, and then she changed it. So she always does that last minute thing.
She lives on the cusp.
Well, so this is our gathering place today.
Yes.
All these wonderful people.
Bless our gathering place and those who gathered among us.
Oh.
Yep. Pass the cabbage soup.
Yep.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes,
I love
Need something
cabbage.
to warm us up.
Yep.
Yeah. So who's Pinky?
Pinky and the brain.
Okay.
I know it's usually, so what do you want to do today, brain? The same thing we do every day, Pinky. Take over the world. No. Oh, well, I got to thinking, I was like, well, what the heck am I going to put for today's title? And then that popped into my head and I was like, okay, what do you want to do today, Pinky?
Well, it's interesting that every one of you so far, and quite a few people in the chat too, have validated the actual feel of the energy frequency change. Actually, it happened Monday, and the shift occurred yesterday.
Yep.
Because yesterday it was just a strange day for me too. Squealing ears and a headache, and I didn't feel like doing anything, so just basically stayed home. So today is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Today's the first day I haven't had that headache behind my eyes in over a week.
Well, we had a big CME that came in on Monday, and it was pushing about 1.5 volts per kilometer. So that was a pretty good one. That was an X-class solar flare that they had.
Yeah, coronal mass ejection.
A lot of people. Yeah, my dog yesterday was all needy and wanting to be all over me and everything else, and so even the animals were affected as well. But having said that, and then coming into today, there is a different crispness, if you will, in the air, or at least the feel of the atmosphere. It's like there's something has been cleansed. I don't know what it is, but something seems to have been cleansed, and I'm hoping that it's for the good.
Yes. Yeah, something.
At least it wasn't like
so.
taking a big laxative, anyways.
That's a good one.
And I'll admit, I never felt it that strong before. I felt it. I physically felt it. I ain't kidding you. In through my head.
I have a victory.
Hey.
Good.
I called and I said, Mom, if I hire the electrician and pay for them, will you allow them to come check your house? And my brother said, let go of that bone. We're getting an electrician out here. And I was like, yes.
Good. I spoke about him last night, I'll tell you. I sent vibrations to him.
He told me I was OCD. And I said, no, I'm worried about the house burning down.
There you go. Hey, so can I ask what are your thoughts, you guys, on that feeling of apathy that came with this new energy that came in? Is that a way for us to distance ourselves a little bit from the emotional turmoil we go through? Or is that part of the change in our process as spiritual beings?
I don't think it was apathy. My personal opinion is that feeling wasn't apathy. My personal opinion was, for a period of time, we were put in like a vacuum.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Apathy was the only thing I could come up with that resembled the numbness, like the.
It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to go to weightlessness first before we could be put back into a different different feeling of gravity. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yep. That was awesome, though.
Interesting.
It's your birthday?
No,
Is it your birthday?
I'm sorry, Nancy. It's not my birthday, but thank you.
I know it's Bella's birthday today, so if you guys see Bella around, wish her happy birthday.
I said a victory, hon. She may have misunderstood me.
That is quite a victory, and I'm very pleased that you got that, and that'll at least let you rest at ease.
Yes.
It's interesting, Bonnie. You had mentioned hiring an electrician, and when you were talking of that the other day, that's exactly what come across my mind. Is hire an electrician to come in there and just run a test on the wires.
Yes.
And So I'm hoping I didn't put a bug between your ears and make you do something that was against your nature.
No, not at all. But
That's what I
because
would
I
have
was
done.
thinking of doing that, and I called an electrician friend last night, and he works for a company, but then he gave me the names of local electricians that I could call. And so I just wanted to make sure it was okay with them if I sent one out there, and they're already getting one.
Good for you. Good for
Don't
you.
have to. He doesn't have to do anything. Just assess everything.
Yes, and that's what I just wanted, them to check the breaker box and the Shane said the lugs could be loose. He said that that's supposed to be done like once a year.
Yep. Even your fuse boxes. Like once or twice a year. Well, once at least once every other year. Check the screws in your fuse box. Shut your power outside. Take a screwdriver, whichever kind you need. Make sure your power's off and tighten those connections that come into your fuse box because that's where fires start.
Yes.
Electrician told me that and showed me even.
Yeah. It'll be good.
You don't have to do nothing.
Shane, you did help. Hello.
Hi, Shane. How you doing? Just saw you pop
Good
in.
to see you, Captain. So, you guys, we're fast approaching that 11/11 date, which I think is going to be another massive influx of really positive energy. And all these energy fluctuations that we're feeling and that we're talking about, I think those are correlating. If you look at the Schumann resonance spikes, they're really correlating. The heartbeat of the Earth is correlating with these solar flares and these energy influxes that we keep feeling, all of us. You know,
I think all these
pretty
things
amazing.
they're working together, and with the solar activity that's going on right now, and the interactions with the Earth's magnetic field, um, it's having an effect. Everything is connected, and that brings up a point. NC girl, she just made a mention there of how things are feeling up there in the mountains. And
Mhm.
um, I got that same impression that the higher altitudes correlates to the higher frequencies of certain people. Both of them are affected more. Now, in my Native American way of thinking, I'm saying, well, the higher up you go, the closer you are to Creator. That's why the eagle was so important, because it was one of the highest flying birds. That's why they revered it. He carried the prayers to Creator because it was up there so high. So if I look at it that way, the higher elevations and the higher frequencies that some of us have, we're going to feel that energy probably first. Okay.
Yes.
And it feels to us differently because we're a higher frequency. Other people that are not at that higher frequency, they're feeling like a weight has been put on them. They're being
Oh,
weighted down.
do you think that has anything to do with the
Reactions and
like
what
the
people are
magnetic
saying and lashing out.
pulses?
What's that?
Well,
Yes.
the Earth has magnetic pulses. The Sun has magnetic pulses. Our body has magnetic
Oh,
pulses,
yeah.
like this electromagnetic energy.
We're a liquid crystal.
Right.
We're
It always makes
vibrating.
me happy when you say that. I
Yeah,
don't
we're
know.
vibrating differently.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
The
that's interesting.
creator turned our vibrators on.
And you
Well,
know
that's
what?
one way to put it.
I sent a message this morning, right? I went and did my thing this morning and I saw 2 deer. That was my gift for the day.
Cool.
So
Wonderful.
so instead of pulling a card, I'd like to read deer. Dear, so gentle and loving you are, the flower of kindness and embrace from afar. One day, Fawn heard Great Spirit calling her from the top of the sacred mountain. Fawn immediately started up the trail. She didn't know that a terrible demon guarded the way to Great Spirit's lodge. The demon was trying to keep all the beings of creation from connecting with the Great Spirit. He wanted all Great Spirit's creatures to feel the Great Spirit didn't want to be disturbed. This would make the demon feel powerful and capable of causing them to fear him. Fawn was not fright not Fawn was not at all frightened when she came upon the demon. This was curious, as the demon was the archetype of all ugly monsters that have ever been. The demon breathed fire and smoke and made disgusting sounds to frighten Fawn. Any normal creature would have fled or died on the spot from fright. Fawn, however, said gently to the demon, "Please let me pass. I'm on my way to see Great Spirit." Fawn's eyes were filled with love and compassion for his oversized bully of a demon. The demon was astounded by Fawn's lack of fear. No matter how he tried, he could not frighten Fawn, because her love had penetrated his hardened, ugly heart. Much to the demon's dismay, his rock hard heart began to melt, and his body shrank to size of a walnut. Fawn's persistent love and gentleness had caused the meltdown of the demon. Due to his gentleness and caring that Fawn embodied, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach Sacred Mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. Deer teaches us to use the power of gentleness to touch the hearts and minds of wounded beings who are trying to keep us from Sacred Mountain. Like the dappling of Fawn's coat, both the light and the dark may be loved to create gentleness and safety for those who are seeking peace. If Deer has gently nudged its way into your cards today, you are being asked to find the gentleness of spirit that heals all wounds. Stop pushing so hard to get others to change and love them as they are. Apply gentleness to your present situation and become like summer breeze, warm and caring. This is your tool for solving the present dilemma you are facing. If you use it, you will connect with Sacred Mountain, your centering place of your, let's see, if you use it, you will connect with Sacred Mountain, your centering place of serenity, and Great Spirit will guide you. That's where we are.
Love it.
That sounded like bombs dropping.
Yep.
Wow. It's very appropriate for the time we're in, isn't it?
No, Monty, it's not my birthday. Sorry.
But you can send her presents.
Sure. Let's have a party anyway. Can I ask
You
a
know-
question?
Sure.
What you were just describing there. I have this really huge love for all that I meet, kind of, sort of. Does that make sense? And so at times it's really hard to differentiate what can you love too much? I don't know how to even explain it.
Pappy, can you handle that one?
Do you think I have all the answers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You know, sometimes things come to us for us to determine what the true meaning is. You know, because the way that it presents itself to somebody else could be, 180 degrees away from what the true meaning is, and that's called mirroring. So things in the mirror are usually reversed. You know what I'm saying? So That's why I have such a tough time. If I turn my camera on and I want to point to Bonnie, okay, I'm looking at her. She's over here, but my finger's pointing over there.
Right.
And sometimes that's the way spiritual teachings come into us too. We need to look and find out, are we looking at a reflection? And if we're looking at a reflection, we have to turn our back to it so that we're in resonance with it, so that we're in the same direction. Does that make any sense to you?
Sort of.
Can I add something,
Absolutely.
please? Okay. So there are a multitude of ways that we consider that we love other people, right? I loved my mother and father. I didn't particularly like them a lot at times, but I did love them. And I love my husband and I love my children. And I love you guys. When we talk about love, I don't think you can love too much. I think we have to try to love unconditionally. And sometimes, as human beings, we do put conditions on our love of the people who are closest to us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not that you can love too much. It's that you can actually love in the wrong way. Like, I know my mother loved me in the best way she could, right? I know my father loved me in the best way he could. Wasn't always what I personally needed or my brothers needed, but it was the best that they could do. So, hindsight being the great teacher that it is, I recognized that, yes, there was love there. It was the best that they could offer me. So we have to take that into perspective with ourselves and with those around us, because you can love people and it not be reciprocated. Thank you, dear. You can love people and put conditions on it that you don't realize that you've placed there. And you can love complete strangers unconditionally because it's the human nature to want to love everyone. And the more you walk your spiritual path, the more you walk in tune with Creator, the more you're going to experience that unconditional love. And it gets to be like you feel like maybe the light isn't going to be able to be held in your body anymore. There's so much of it. And it can feel overwhelming at times. But what I say to that is,
Yes.
let it out. Don't try to hold it in. Give more. And I know it sounds backwards, but giving more and focusing too on the way that you love those nearest to you, because those are the people who are closest to you are the ones you put the most conditions on. And we don't intend to do that, but we do that. So learning to love unconditionally can be really tough sometimes for a lot of people. So I don't think you can love too much. I think you can sometimes love not in the healthiest of ways.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes. But it is unconditionally. It's,
Right. But listen, here's the biggest point of this. Who's
But
the
the
person
lady-
closest to you? Who's the person closest to you?
physically and mentally.
You.
Oh, me?
You are closest to you. And
Right.
so people who love unconditionally oftentimes have problems giving that unconditional love to themselves. And so it can be overwhelming.
Very
when
much
you
so. Yes.
Right. So don't forget that you have to love yourself, so the purity of that love, when it is expressed, comes through clearly.
When you love yourself unconditionally, then you can pass that unconditionally love to others.
Well, I look at myself like others would look at me. And so I pick out the flaws that they would see first.
No, Bonnie, you're beautiful.
No, Bonnie.
Get them
Bonnie.
through your head.
When you listen, and I want everybody in chat to listen to this real quick, okay? When you look at yourself, see yourself through Creator's eyes. Stop looking at the sack of skin that you're wearing, because that does not make any difference one way or the other. What the Creator sees when the Creator looks at you is that beautiful, shining soul, that beautiful fractal of love that comes directly from divine. That is what you look at in other people. That's how you are able to love them. You have to start seeing that in yourself, like in the mirror.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a
Easier said than done.
it's a strange road, Bonnie. Really, it's like
It is.
respect. I give unconditional respect to everyone I meet. It's up to them to make that better or to make that less. Okay? The
Okay.
respect is still there, but it may not be as strong as it used to be, or it's weaker than it was. But it's still respect. Same thing with love. You can love somebody unconditionally, but if they blow it, you're not going to love them the same. The love's still there, but it's just different. It's not the same. Maybe it's not what you want, but it's still love.
You know how I learned it is I came across a meditation one time, and no, I can't tell you what book I found it in or who wrote it or how it came to be part of my life, but in this meditation, it's a visualization, and you visualize stepping out of your skin and being your spirit self, right? That pure light. And in this visualization, you stand in front of a mirror and you take off your clothing items one at a time, and you rid yourself of these burdens and weights that you've been carrying one at a time, as if you're taking off layers of clothing like you'd wear in the wintertime, right? And eventually you get to the part where your skin is what is left, and you have to step out of that to see your spirit self, to see your soul shining brightly. So that's always stayed with me. And I think if we can start to shed some of the misconceptions that we have about the vehicles that we are using, and it not only helps us personally, right, but it helps us in the world, because it helps you to see past someone's skin and to see the beauty of their soul. And when you see the beauty of the soul, that is what love you give unconditionally, right? That's the part of people that you love. So
Yep.
that's the part you also have to see with yourself. And that is usually the hardest person to love unconditionally, is yourself.
Yep.
Go ahead, Peppy.
Interesting that we talk about this 4-letter word frequently, and lots of times we talk about it with our understanding of what the meaning is and that sort of stuff to us. Okay. And then other people will have questions about it, just like we're discussing today. But of all the words that I've run across in my life, that 4-letter word seems to be the most powerful. It seems to be a trigger for something. Okay. And the way that I look at it is that was the trigger that was in the mind's eye and the heart of Creator that created all of this creation, allowed us to be. It was that 4-letter word, that love. And so, of course, me being the way that I am, I says, I think I wrote something about that, and I did, and I pulled it up. So I'm going to read it to you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on a second.
Love you, Pappy.
I'm going to stop my camera.
Big love. Big love.
I wrote this back in 2011. Wow, 10 years ago.
Wow.
And it's called Choosing the Intent of Love. All of the things we have done or will do in our lives are the results of our choices. If you are like me, you can probably remember how irrational, emotional, or spur of the moment choices sent our world into a completely unexpected direction that was either painful, hurtful, or just plain stupid. Believe me when I tell you that my pathway is littered with signposts that indicated the type of choice I had made at the time. Realizing how choices have consequences and not wanting to erect any more of those, well, duh signs, I started asking myself how I could limit the number of unhealthy choices I would make in the future. What could I use to instantly remind me to stop and think before I made a choice? Was there something that would serve as a filter, keeping the impurities of poor choices from slipping through, and that would also help me walk a pathway of higher good for myself and all of my relations? After much head scratching and searching and observing, I was directed to search into the mirror of creation in the looks within place. And it was there that I was finally able to grasp the key that opened a greater awareness and understanding within me. I have always said and taught that intent was key to the flow of medicine and its subsequent energy directions and purpose. If the intent was for the highest good, then I could rest assured that the results would be the way they were supposed to be for the highest good, in its own way, in its own amount, and in its own time. I saw reflected back at me the fact that the intent for the highest good was really a reflection of unconditional love. Now I could see the connection for making good choices. Creator, keep me aware that love is the purest intent. If I filter my thinking through that purest of intents, then I cannot help but make better choices in each step I take, each hand that I can hold, each person I can embrace, or each blade of grass I can caress. You have shown me this day that everything that is alive. Everything that is alive is Creator's unconditional love by intent. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pappy.
Yes.
That was
Much
a
appreciated.
kind of a journal entry that I made 10 years ago.
That's great.
So getting back to Bonnie's situation, you have that unconditional love. If the intent is good, then you don't have to worry about how the others are receiving it, because their reception of that is entirely up to them. If your intent is good and it goes out there, if someone out there that it was intended to go to does not receive it, there's somebody else out there that's going to get it unexpectedly, don't know where it came from, and they're going to have a great day. So, you know, if your love for somebody is not on target and they reject it, you know, set the intent out that love continues to go out and hit somebody that needs it, that wasn't expecting it. It's your giveaway by Creator through you to somebody else. So you can have unconditional love and have a great day, even though you get a frown back when you smile at somebody.
Very good. Okay. That helped explain a lot.
Well, you know, it's
Love
interesting.
without fixing.
We talked about the energy changes that took place. Okay. And some of us have been reshuffled and stuff, and some of the knots and the kinks have been combed out of our hair, so to speak. All right. And it was interesting that I was going to bring this up earlier, but I just happened to remember it now. I went out to sit on the porch and just soak up in a little sunshine out there today, out of the breeze. And I looked up and I says, "Well, that's odd. there was a great big bird sitting on the chimney across the street from where I live here in the city. And I looked at it a little bit closer, and guess what it was?
Hawk.
Vulture.
Hawk.
Wow.
No, a vulture. There was a vulture sitting on the chimney of the triple-decker house across the street from me. And there was two other vultures circling around very, very low over that same rooftop. And one of them also came down and landed on the roof. Now, I took that as a sign, and I'm putting two and two together now and coming up with another one. Okay. We talked about the energy shift that took place. Now, what does vulture do?
They scattered.
Yeah, they clean up. They're nature's cleanup crew.
Yeah.
Sure. And remember I talked about where did this energy feel oppressive? Was down at the low levels and stuff.
Yeah.
So when does vulture land?
When he's tired.
Once something has relinquished life.
That's right. So here's vulture landing down here, down at ground level on a rooftop, and it's signifying to me that we're down here cleaning up all the debris that high energy just burned out. We're eating it up and we're turning it back into, what vultures do.
But did you make sure that the neighbors are okay in the house?
Well, maybe there's just something dirty going on in that house. I don't know.
I would be worried that.
I don't think that's a teaching that came across.
Okay.
You see this feather right here?
Oh yeah.
That's
See how
pretty.
long that is?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a vulture wingtip feather that I use for removing negativity when I do cleansing ceremonies because of what they do.
Yes.
We got him
And you
here.
think about it. Everybody disdains vultures and possums and things of that nature, but they truly are Mother Nature's little garbage men. They come and they clean up the dead and the death, and they remove all of that material from our paths for us. That's their job. That's what they do.
Well,
And that's actually a blessing.
Let's take it a little bit further because this all ties in with what's going on. Okay. Because think of the card that Robert pulled about deer. Okay. Think about what Bonnie was talking about with that love energy, that unconditional love energy. Think about what I was talking about with Vulture coming in and cleansing up this denser energy, which is Vulture's telling me is dying, okay, and needs to be cleaned up. And then let's go ahead and discuss the card that I pulled that said, because I asked myself, well, what is this coming to? And the card that I pulled comes out of the Sacred Path book, and it's called the Hour of Power. Okay, let me read what it says to you. I think this hour of power relates to many of us individually and perhaps most of us as this group. Okay. Hour of power. Oh, sacred hour that reconnects my spirit with the whole. Mother Earth will fill me up through my heart and soul. I will sing my spirit song. I will be at one. I will share my energy like earth, moon, and sun. Okay, and here's the teaching about the hour of power. All human beings have their own internal timing. Some are very quick to accomplish a daily task, while others are more methodical. Some people have a slow metabolic rate, and others have food seemingly run through their bodies. The thought processes of some are lightning quick, and others are graced with the patience of examination. These examples of personal timing are some of the things that make us unique and different from one another. So it is that each person also has an hour of power during the day's cycle. Each person feels more connection with a certain time of day or evening. For some, it may be just before sunrise, when the world is still and quiet and fading darkness is about to greet grandfather's son. For others, it may be at 3 or 4 a.m., when the sitting and the stirrings of life are totally quiet and entering the silence. For some, it may be high noon, when grandfather's son is at his peak, and it's flooding his love and warmth for all of creation. For others, it may be sunset, the day's transition into starry wonder. For all people, their special time of day or evening is their hour of power. Now, if we look at it from what they're talking about during the day, okay, let's consider the day to mean lifetime, okay? And it seems to me that the hour of power for many people is coming together at almost the same time. Now, how do we apply the hour of power? The hour of power speaks of the rituals of joy. No matter what your present situation, you're being asked to do what gives your heart the greatest joy. Drop any activity that is taxing and focus on connecting to the earth and being fed with the energy you need to maintain happiness. This card signals the zero rest balance point that will keep you from becoming out of harmony if you realign your body, your mind, and your spirit by doing something that gives you joy. This little happiness break is what will keep you from breaking apart if you are stressed out. Life force is available to you in this moment. Be reminded not to leak this process, mana, or regret, to regret or indecision. This is a free gift that's being given to you right now. The keynote here is celebrating life. Find the blessings that give you joy, discover your hour of power, and feed the talents that allow you to develop your greatest potential. Now, if you put that together with this frequency shift that's taken place in the last 2 or 3 days that many of us felt, and what you've been discussing today, you've been given the gift to choose to go forward with a different vibration that is filtered through the intent of love within you, allowing the negative stuff that's been coming on our shoulders and the stuff we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and months and the stuff that we see going on in the world around us. Creator is telling, at least he's telling me, that it's time to let Vulture do its work and eat that stuff up, because there has been a change that's been brought down. We're into the season now of change. And if we go forward with the love, the intent of love in your heart and joy on your face, then you can live the intent that you have inside. And you're going to change your frequency, and you're going to change each of us frequency that you interact with. And together, we're going to change the frequency of the world. I think it's happened. I think it started. I think we started to see those results, even in some of the results of the elections that just took place. Okay, I think it happened. I think we're the ones that were present in the time that the change occurred. I'll welcome your feedback on it, because I've been running my mouth a lot.
That's perfectly said.
Yeah, you said that really well. That's beautiful.
And it's true. That's true.
How did the elections turn out?
What was that?
How did the election turn out yesterday?
Well, it depends on where you were, but there has been an awful lot of people that have come up and voiced their true feelings about the moral values that has been displayed in the country over the last few years, and the direction the country was turning. And the people were coming out and saying, hey, that's not right. Of course parents should have some say in what's being taught to their children in the schools. Of course people should have some say as to, what is right and wrong when it comes to life and death. Of course people should have some say about what their their true religious beliefs and feelings are. Of course, people should have some say about, what do you mean I'm a bigot and a racist? Of course I'm not. Just because they say you are does not make you so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right.
so there's been that shift and that change.
I
And
think too.
we don't look forward to feeling the sunshine on our face until we walk through the cold night. And I think the cold night is is getting ready to get over pretty soon, but it's always darkest just before the dawn.
Yep.
I think part of what we're seeing in this change of energy is the spirit of cooperation that has been missing for so long with so many different people, and they have gone so far trying to divide us, trying to be divisive, and people are coming together, and they're being there's a cohesion, there's a comprehension that even though we feel differently about many things, we still have more in common than we have different. We still want what is best for all of the children of the world, all the generations. And a lot of the natives say, we don't own the land, we are borrowing it from our grandchildren. And I think that really is a vital point that people are getting to, that we are looking at everything going on in our world, and we are seeing that this is going to, no matter what happens, it will be affecting the future generations. And so we as a species are becoming more cognizant of that again, and there's a spirit of cooperation in part due to that, but in part I think just from the energy changes, and um, you have all these people that are just trying to spread the love, and I think maybe some of it's finally breaking through, right? It's lighting up all that darkness, and it's illuminating people's worlds enough that they can see that we have to all come together, we have to all work together.
Well, if you're coming into your hour of power, if we are in our hour of power, and you're not doing anything during that hour of power, you're not using your power.
True.
Acknowledge it and use it. It's being presented there from the field of plenty to do something with. And collectively, people are saying, whoa, I feel my power coming back into me. I'm going to use it. I'm going to go to the local school board. I'm going to see who's running this or who's running that. I'm going to go out there and find out why this is happening or that's happening. Without the action, you can't exercise your power. Power held in a basket is useless. All it is a battery that goes dead after a while. Okay, so yeah. I think collectively the hour of power is being offered to a lot of people, and they're stepping up. Good on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it also seems to be more of a spiritual connection too between, I mean, you look at all these channels, and some I don't know what the purpose of. There's not a lot I watch. I have chosen my few, and that's what I stick with. But you can see a community of people that are growing in like-minded. The prayer that Hawk is doing every weekend, it just seems like more people are really getting in touch with the spirituality of everything, of the land, of the what we can do to fix things. I don't know if any of this makes any sense, but it's
It all makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It
okay.
all makes sense.
And
Stop and think about the old Gilligan's Island comedy show. Remember that? Okay, you remember them being stranded out there, no electricity and everything, and the professor was always trying to get the radio going, but they didn't have any power, so they rigged up a little generator. And who was pedaling? Gilligan.
Yep.
Okay, and you know what's happening? There's been a few Gilligans out there pedaling while people were trying to make contact. You know, and they were listening. They were listening for signs of rescue. Okay, but there just wasn't enough power to pick up a signal. So pretty soon, a few more old bicycles showed up, and a few more Gilligans got on there and started pumping more power in. And the message started coming across clearer and clearer. And that was Creator out there lighting the world up a little bit with a little more frequency. And the more people that got on their bicycles and pedaled, the more power that they generated into that system, the clearer became the message that they were receiving. And when enough people get there, perhaps collectively they can come together as a professor and make a microphone where they can be heard.
Yes.
Okay. So we've all been pedaling our butts off here for a little while. Okay. But the more people we got pulling on the pedals, the easier it is for each of us to pedal. We don't have to stand up on those pedals and pump as hard like we're going uphill anymore. Okay. So yeah, it makes sense to me, Bonnie. I don't know if I just made any sense to anybody else.
Yes.
Yeah, it did make sense, Pappy.
And it seems like, you know, they're talking about this Green New Deal and everything and all that. So to me, if everyone started getting rid of, I mean, how many comforts in your life do you really, really need? If we would get rid of a lot of that and get back to the basics and start growing our own, and I just feel like the real change needs to be our country being self-sufficient and the people being more connected with the land and what it can provide, instead of worrying about who's got the better whatever.
So are you suggesting we come
Understanding?
away from all this magnificent technology just a little bit and breathe some fresh air?
Mhm.
What an amazing thought.
I think she's suggesting that people take responsibility for their own lives, take responsibility for making the decisions that impact them, and not having to acquiesce to the decisions that somebody else made that says it's good for them. I think it's what Bonnie is saying.
Yep.
I think that means the people getting their own power back and saying, no.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
not right.
Holding up four fingers and saying, read between the lines. No.
You know, that's a really good point that you make. And you too, Sir Lix-a-Lot. So that's a very good point, though. We have to take it's part of us all standing up and taking responsibility for our own choices and saying, I choose not to let these tyrannical nut jobs run my life. I choose to be responsible for myself, my family, my community. And that you can't build a building without a foundation. You can, but it'll crumble. Right? You got to have that foundation, and that foundation always starts right here with yourself. No matter what you're looking at, if you're looking outside first, you're not going to find the answer. You always have to look here first.
And things always go faster and go better if you have help to do the hard stuff.
Okay.
In,
That's
in,
the
in,
problem.
in construction, in life, in your spiritual thing, if you all walk together like we're in a group now, and we have our little family going on. That's power. That is the power of, that's the hour of power. When we're together, we're more powerful than we are alone.
Right.
Doesn't
United
it?
we stand, divided we fall.
Right.
And
If you're
I
gonna
would,
cross,
go ahead.
if you're gonna cross a busy highway, what are your better chances? If you alone go across, or if you all cross the road together?
True.
Yep.
Together.
Yep.
So how are
Nobody.
you doing today, Dorinda?
I'm okay. I'm good today. Yeah, I worked this morning. My foot's a little sore, but I'm all right.
Oh, and to answer your question, Dorinda, North Carolina girl said Virginia, VA, right? Virginia turned red.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Saw that.
love,
I was
Love
checking
Pup.
that out yesterday, but I didn't see the final results. So
she's a neighbor to me, and she said she was working pools yesterday. So,
Does anyone
but I
get
don't
the
watch
impression?
TV.
Does anyone get the impression this like creator went over and grabbed a hold of the curtain and yanked it back so you could see who was on the controls to Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Indubitably.
Most definitely. And the Texas is sending more Texas National Guard and equipment down to the border, and so that's being taken care of. So I can quit worrying about it.
There you go.
That's cool. We have a good group going on.
Yeah.
I love the comments.
Although we are not even begun to clean up the troubles that we've been through, I think we're well on our way. I think that this this big energy shift that did just happen, I think, is the ripple effect of that is going to be a long time. I really don't think that's going to be short lived. I think that the ripples are going to reach far and wide of what is going on now in our world, and not just here in the United States. Yes, this is probably where the big stone dropped, but I think that's going to, reflect and ripple out to the rest of the world as well. Because the rest of the world's just been waiting for America to stand up on its own 2 feet.
Well, one of the things to think about now is that when you have a storm and you're going through a storm, it goes through phases. You're warned that a storm is coming, or at least you're given some indication. Sometimes it catches us by surprise. And then you have to hunker down while the storm is around you because you can't really do much about that storm which is swirling around you. And then you see signs that the storm is going to stop, or at least is abating a little bit. But what I found is that always the greatest work seems to be the cleanup after the storm. And we've got that to look forward to once this storm stops, And the people that have been trying to hold this thing together and everything, we're going to have to go out there and probably help some of these people to assess the storm damage in their lives and see what we can help them to do to repair it. But in order to do that, we've got to clean the roads away from our own storm damage first, so that we can get to them, So that's just kind of the analogy that I put out there, that I kind of see what I think we'd have to go through collectively as a country and perhaps as a world. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad that the curtains have been pulled down a little bit, so people are starting to really see what's going on and becoming more aware that things were not the way they were taught they were.
Yes.
That's priceless.
true.
Pappy, he just wants to be heard too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Daddy, I want to talk too.
Mhm.
I have something to say.
You, you can have this guy.
Aw.
I think no matter what, we all see the change, and even the people who have been sitting back wondering what in the world, or have been in disbelief, have something tangible now that they can see that is changing. And
Yes.
when you roll, when you make a snowball and you roll it down the hill, it gathers steam, it gathers snow as it goes, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think that's kind of what this is too. I think this is the first snowball is rolling down the hill, right? And it may only be this big right now, but wait till it reaches the end of that hill.
Yes. Yes. And that's I had lost all my faith in government completely. And I'm sure a lot of people have. And, but I'm seeing more and more that even they are feeling it. The government's feeling that the people have had enough. They're fed up. And I don't know if any of y'all saw the video of Paxton standing in the House talking to the Speaker of the House. He was really laying it out there. And then there was another one. Well, and even Teddy that was on LW, listening to him, I think there is hope. I think that there's going to be more people coming out like that are ordinary people that are, and there are a lot of changes that still need to be made. There should not be contributions for a person to run for an election. I just think that that is crazy that it depends on how much money you raise, whether you can be elected or not. That shouldn't even have a factor in it. The
It
term
should.
limits, the you know, it's not a career that you live off of for the rest of your life. It should not be that either. There's a whole lot of changes that still need to be made, but I think with these people that are coming up, that
Where are you?
maybe those changes will be put in place.
I hope so too. When everybody talks about returning to better times and returning to original Constitution and things like that, we need to realize it's not just about the words in the documents. The men that wrote those documents did not specifically want to serve in Congress or Senate or as representatives. However, it was their duty to this new country, and so they did it. Um, that's, I think, what we should get back to. And I know you guys have heard me talk a little bit about that in the past about, you know, it doesn't need to be, we don't need to plug good people into a bad system. We need a good system, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's going to come to the point where there is going to have to be house cleaning by the people in that area as well. Um, I really do feel like it probably is going to change to some degree. I hope it does. I can't see us actually moving forward without that. But I mean, that's not to say it can't happen. But I'm tired of facades. You know, the fake fronts that they put on old buildings to make them look new. But we can't keep doing that. We've allowed that to happen for so long. If there's damage to the structure needs fixed, right?
Right. And we don't need that many people in Congress. We don't need that many people up there.
And I know people think it's a little ridiculous if I say that we, the people, need to be the ones voting on any bill that gets passed. I truly believe that. If you're going to pass a law that governs the land that I live on, the area that I'm in, the location where I'm at, I should be able to have a say in said law. That should not go to a bunch of people who don't physically live in that area. You know,
Right.
those people who have no understanding of the grassroots of an area should not have any say in how to govern it. That's my opinion. But
Well,
that is my opinion.
isn't that the way it's done? Because I know Texas had like 8 propositions to go. They were making new amendments for the Texas Constitution, and that was voted on yesterday.
They can't change that.
They
They
can't
can
change
amend it.
the state constitution.
Oh, the state. Oh, the state.
Yeah, they can amend it. They can't change the original constitution, but they can put amendments into it.
Right.
Which is how we get into this loop-de-loo,
Situation
big old tied up knot that we're in now, with the entire thing. I don't know the way to fix it. All I know is that I've been called for whatever reason to try to spread love light, and you know, that's what I try to do. So the rest of it, I know, is going to work itself out in one way or another. I'm not that person that can proceed in that same manner. Like, you know how we've always talked about everybody is a piece of the puzzle, and we all have our own shape, we all have our own place, we all have our own little color that goes in a certain area of the puzzle.
Right.
So my bit is not my piece. I know for a fact isn't me going into a public hall and getting arrested, because I have a very thin, almost non-existent filter in certain circumstances in life. And I know this about myself. And
Yes.
I also know how reactionary I am when it comes to certain things. There are a lot of things that I can contemplate. There are a lot of things that I can process. There are a lot of emotions and things that I am non-reactionary to, which is the way I want to be with everything. However, the second you start talking about you're going to come take my kid because I don't agree with what you want to teach them, would be one of those reactionary moments for me. I know this about myself. I accept this about myself while I'm trying to change it, because I have to be accepting of the fact that that is a present condition, right? And that way I can work towards making it not so much of a condition for the future. But knowing that about myself, I'm probably the first one in handcuffs in that situation. Ask
And
my husband. He knows me.
That's what my whole thing was today, is that it hit me that there are a lot of things out of my control, and
Yes.
I have to focus on what I can control myself personally.
Yep.
Whether it's with me, my health, my family, right here. If it's within my control, if I even have the control, I will use it. But a lot of things are out of our control.
Yes.
We
And see,
think we
that
have
goes,
control, but we don't.
this goes right back to what we first started talking about. This goes immediately back to loving yourself first so that
Yep.
you can freely give love to others. It is the
Yes.
same thing. Realizing what you have control over and what you do not have control over is another step in that process, right? Saying, all right, what is my part in this? And then actually doing the work and finding what your part in it is. But it always starts at self. It always starts at home. And we all want to give out, we all want to share out, and that's wonderful. Don't stop doing that to the best of your abilities. But just like my mother and father loved me to the best of their abilities, right? And I love my children to the best of my abilities. It may not always be what they need, but it's the best of my abilities. And I hope that someday they see that. So we all have to work on the best of our abilities first so that we are able to better express those things to others, right?
You know, one thing I remember, when things were going south here, the best thing, because I worked at the newspaper for 15 years, is letter to the editor. You want to get the word out quick, go to your local newspaper and put a letter to the editor about what you're saying. If you can't go to a school board meeting because you're afraid of getting arrested, and I get that totally, because I know there's a lot of mama bears out there speaking up, and I see what's happening. Some are being allowed, some aren't. But the newspaper, they can't come and arrest you for a letter to the editor. As long as your signature is on it, it's accepted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are living in times where rules are changing as the game is changing, and the ones making the rules are the ones that started the game in the first place. So I do believe there is a bit of caution to be held in certain circumstances. You see what I mean? Just like how we all watch our language so carefully on this platform because we know that the game that this platform plays is by their rules, which are changing continuously.
Well, yes, even in a letter, you don't want to be a bulldozer, in it, but you are expressing what has happened and what needs to be changed. The last one I wrote was about my youngest daughter and the bullying that she was going through in school. Well, it made the parents more aware and more controlling of their own children. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
That
Yes.
so
It may-
that so they could see the other side of it. That she was to the point of suicide almost. And so I expressed that. And as a mother, I was deeply concerned. And how many other children in the school are going through this? I made it like it wasn't an attack on anybody specific. It was be aware and do what you can to prevent this from happening, because the school wasn't.
Right.
Isn't it interesting that people are realizing that for a long time, we've had other people pushing our control buttons. Okay. And, and we were putting up with it. We're putting up with it. But at some point in time, they hit the wrong button. And that's why I changed my avatar, because sometimes that wrong button is like a swift kick in the ass of a sleeping bear. and it finally awakens them up, and they said, "You just did what?" And I think collectively that's where we're starting to come together as a people. You know, we don't like the boot prints that we're getting anymore. We're seeing where they're coming from, and we're understanding where they're coming from. And you know what? We understand that we came into our hour of power, and we need to use it. And people are definitely using it. They're listening to each other. They're getting validation that somebody else's hour of power is having success, and they're getting emboldened and going out there and taking control themselves. So I'm looking around at a collective group of here, and each one of us has our own boot print on our own rear end that kicked us and got us going in a direction. And it might have been something as simple as just starting a little chat program on YouTube with no idea where it was going to go. But you know, when you want to have a brand new picture, okay, and you send out the prayers to Creator that you want a brand new picture, he starts putting together all the puzzle pieces that will make that new picture. It's up to us to put them together, individually and collectively. And I think you guys are doing a bang up job.
Thank you. So are you. You're keeping us all sane and
Yeah.
thinking thinking about things before we jump into doing them.
That's good.
I think we all balance each other very well. I know there have been many days you all have come on here with me, and I have been in emotional turmoil, up and down, roller coaster, all over the place. And
Miss
you guys will
Anthony,
jump up here with me, and it's like you're just the leveler that I needed for that day. And I don't know how to begin to thank all of you for the love that you share with me and how you help me, because this isn't just about me trying to help other people. This is about how we together help everyone, right?
Yeah.
So I want you guys to know that I love and appreciate each and every one of you so much. I thank the Creator for each and every one of you. I'm going to say that every day, I think, because I think that is important that we remember that about each other, you know?
I'm going to tell you the truth, Heather. The only reason I stuck around today is after I found out that your husband was playing with electricity. I was waiting to see the sparks fly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for sparks too, but they didn't happen, thankfully. That would have been bad before winter. Now we'd have been okay because we know how to go about without it, but electricity does make things quite a bit easier.
Yeah, I'd like to say hi to Shepard. Beck is in the house. B-Dog, hope your day's going good. Conservative Cowboy pumping out info. Hello, everyone.
Yes, there's really good people here.
Yeah. I've been waiting to say hi to them.
Well, you know, once we get these conversations going, it's so hard sometimes to stop and say hi, but we see you and we love you all.
Right.
That's for sure. We really
And the same thing back at you, girl. You know that.
do.
Yes,
I love all
I
you
know.
guys. I love all you guys.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I'm comfortable being the yeast that makes the bread rise, but you go, NC. I might want to rather be the flour or something. I don't know. Every part's important, though, right? Every part is important,
Yep.
no matter what part you are.
Together, it's everything.
We're all an ingredient.
Yep.
To
It's
make
just
it
like those
amazing.
vultures. Just like those vultures. If we didn't have vultures and if we didn't have possums, we would have roadkill everywhere, and it would stink. There would be the smell of death everywhere you went if you didn't have those little cleanup crews, right? So we have to be grateful for every job, for every bit. And I remember my dad telling me that when I was younger, when I got my first legitimate job at 14.
Mhm.
I remember him telling me, you know, don't ever be ashamed of any job you do. If you're giving it 100%, it doesn't matter if you're a janitor or CEO. You're doing your best job, and you take pride in that. Um, and I think really the lesson in that isn't the pride, but it's the giving your 100%, no matter what job it is, giving your best, putting your best foot forward. And I think that's really important in everything we do.
Yes. No job is too menial, and every job is needed.
Exactly. B-Dog says he's the salt. And Frank wants to be the chili pepper.
Hey, North Carolina girl, it's not this electric shock that'll get you. It's falling off the ladder that hurts.
The last time my brother was here, he was trimming trees and he fell off the ladder and cracked a few ribs.
Pappy was just sticking around to see if you made sparks.
Nope. Good boy.
Oh, my ears were ringing.
Good boy.
It was never the fall that scared me. It was the sudden impact.
Right.
You already know it's coming.
It's what happens at the bottom, right?
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Do any of y'all know, this is totally off topic, that
Do
clay
we ever have
pots?
one?
No,
Right on target then.
you left it wide open today. The clay pots that you use with the candle inside to make a heater, which
Yeah.
ones, how do you know which ones are the bad ones and which ones are the good ones? Because people keep saying they're toxic.
You want to get a terracotta pot.
Non-glazed.
You want to get non-glazed terracotta, which is, I mean,
That's the only difference.
you live in Texas, girl. Go outside and get you some clay, make you a pot, bake it in the oven, and you'll be good. There's your pot. Don't forget the hole in the bottom. But while everybody is looking at those terracotta heaters, those are a great idea. But I'm gonna advise a word of caution that I never see mentioned in any of those videos, and that is don't use scented candles unless you know the candle maker is using good, organically produced scents that are not going to be toxic, that aren't put with a toxic carrier oil. Don't use scented candles to try to heat your home. Scented candles are not the greatest thing in the world for you.
Yeah, I don't get
Just like
scented.
some of those air fresheners, they're not that good for you.
We
You
have
got
a
to be real careful. Yeah, you got to be careful with it. And it's not the scents themselves that are going to hurt you. It's the carriers, right? It's the whatever it's put into to make it into the scent. That's the part that's going to get you.
Are soy
um,
candles okay?
Soy candles are fantastic because soy has a longer burn time, and you can take soy wax, melt it down, and reuse it until it's all burnt up. So you can. Soy candles are fantastic for that, for repurposing. You can repurpose those as candles.
Okay. Because we have a factory that makes them not too far from here.
You
And
know,
there's
another
some-
I still wouldn't use any kind of scented candle in that type of.
No.
If you're doing as a heat source, you don't want to use any kind of scented candles. I think that's really important because people, they can understand the way that the heat moves and creates, the heat through the terracotta, but they don't understand that the fumes are spreading wider and further than the heat is.
Okay. That's
You
the
know,
only thing that I haven't been able to come up with is an alternate heat source because just in case. And um, to me, that's the cheapest, most practical for us. We can't put
Right.
a wood burning stove in, so that's not an
Okay.
option.
Well, there's a couple of things I think you ought to keep in consideration, Bonnie. You know, when you're looking at alternate heat sources, the terracotta pots, they work quite effectively. Okay, but you have to remember a couple of things. First off, there's an open flame. Okay, that's always an
Yes.
issue if you have animals around or if it's on an unstable surface or whatever. And then you have melted oil from the candle or the fuel source that you're using. Okay, so you do need to take some precautions in utilizing those. And also, whenever
Okay.
you have an open flame, it does produce carbon monoxide. Okay, so in a closed area without ventilation, it could still cause a problem, but they're
Yes.
usually so small that it won't be a problem. But you know, if you put candles and stuff inside and you get all the melted wax and things, it can get it does get messy. All right, that's another consideration. So I can give you an alternative that works quite well, and you know the cans of Crisco.
Yes.
Yeah, the Crisco cooking lot. Well, my mother always called everything lard. But anyways, those Crisco, you can get those in the smaller cans. You don't have to get the great big cans. You get the smaller cans, and you can actually install a wick in the center of that. Push a wick down into it, and like that, and utilize that, and that will burn for hours and hours and hours and hours. And the
Yes, ma'am.
oil stays in the can, so it's not quite as much of a spill worry as you would have with and the mess with the melted candle and stuff. Candles
Okay.
are great until the wick burns down to the bottom. Then you got a big pile of melted wax.
Yeah.
Usually, if you use a wick with the oil in it, the oil is slowly burned off and stuff, so you'll have less waste when it comes to that. So there's a consideration right there. And
Yes.
I've got a couple, two or three of those pots around here, and I picked them up at the plant store because I just buy the terracotta planters, and I get the unglazed type, and they
Yes.
work real good.
Okay. Thank you.
You know, another thing is you can buy a cheap glass lantern or even a globe oil lamp from Walmart. And I know nobody likes to go to Walmart, but they do have them there. They have them usually at any kind of old style um
Hurricane lamps.
hurricane lamp, yeah, a hardware store. But you can get a glass farmhouse style lantern and keep your candles in that. Just try to remember to put a some kind of a dish or something in there to catch the wax, so it's less to clean up. But there was a winter where we used those not only for light but also for heat, and I put tinfoil in the bottom of the lamp, and then I put my dish and my candle in it, and it was great light and it reflected heat as well. So it's just another idea. I mean, the terracotta pots work, and like Pappy was saying, the can of Crisco is, I mean, it's like a self-contained little thing. So, you know, those are great to have too, and all those are really affordable. Like I know you can get the lanterns for like 10 or 20 bucks, at a hardware store or at a Walmart even. Um, in Ohio, they're already out. Like they have them out already. I don't know how it goes down in your area. I know things are different demographics.
Well, don't
But if
burn
they got,
citronella oil in your house. Yeah.
don't do that.
No.
Yeah, don't do
No.
that.
And so if I did use the terracotta pots, would I have to set it on something? I don't know if the bottom of it gets hot where you would want to set it on the floor or
Anytime you're dealing with fire or heat, you want, I don't know, a piece of tile or something non-conductive, a piece of wood Well, you got to be careful with that too, depending on what kind of heating source you're using, because you can heat the wood up and it'll combust. Wood is combustible. So
My
What
my
is
my
what if
suggestion, Bonnie, would be that a lot of those terracotta pots, if you look, they'll also have a terracotta drip tray that's meant to sit underneath the pot to
yes.
catch any water that comes out of the planter. So basically, you would set your candle on the drip tray, and then turn your pot upside down. With a big part down on that drip tray, with the vent hole at the top. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. You just reminded me, Bonnie. So the other night, I made a quiche on the wood stove because our chickens are laying eggs just profusely. And so my husband says, "We've got some extra eggs. We got a lot of eggs." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Will you make quiche?" And I said, "All right, I'll make quiche." And I do it in a skillet on top of the wood stove. Well, the last couple times I've done it, because I make a crustless quiche. I don't do like the pie crust in it. I don't like the pie crust with my quiche. So, but it the way I do it, it was getting a crust on the bottom anyway, right? Because it's sitting right on top of the wood stove, the pan. And I thought, well, I need a trivet, but I don't have a trivet. And I thought about going out and taking one of my plant hangers down and bending it and shaping it into a trivet and using that. And I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't really want to mess up my plant holders because I use those in the summertime and whatnot. And I pulled off. I have these small little jars that I do my seasonings in. Show you. And I keep my spices in these, and I do these for gifts for with my apple butter and stuff. So what I did was I just took 3 rings of these little rings and set them on top of my wood stove and used them as my trivet. So there are all kinds of different things you can do. Sometimes you have to just think outside the box.
Heather, do you ever freeze your eggs, your extra eggs?
We hardly ever have enough to freeze. I have thought about it, but the chickens are both households, and so there's usually enough for us to do something with. But then my brother-in-law also, when he sees extra eggs, he does up tons of bread and mixes and stuff. So there's usually not enough to freeze up some. I know I can.
Yeah. The easiest way that I found is you put your egg in a cup and whip it up with a whisk, and then pour it into a muffin pan, put it in the freezer and freeze it, and then pop them all out later on and put them all in a Ziploc bag and get as much air out of it as you can and pop them back in the freezer. They're good to go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And you can use them as scrambled eggs or for baking or whatever when you pull them back out too. So anybody that wants to do that and freeze your eggs, good stuff.
Yep.
So
I know they freeze eggs in fertility clinics too.
so you crack the eggs and like put them in a.
You're gonna whisk them up. Yeah, you're gonna scramble them and then freeze them
in a Ziploc baggie or whatever.
Yeah. Some people are saying muffin tin it works well. I've heard of people using ice cube trays.
Oh, okay.
Just whatever works for you, for your household, because it's going to be about what you are going to be using them for. So if you're going to be using them for baking or making scrambled eggs, you may want to do 2 eggs in each muffin tin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So about how much each one is. And then that allows you to do up multiple eggs at one time and just pour them in, after you've done a little play with that and found out what that looks like for whatever you're going to use,
Yes.
as your freezing method. And then once they're frozen, you can just pop them into a freezer bag and pull the tray out.
Yeah, that's important. You got to put them inside of a bag that protects them from the air in the freezer, because what will happen is that they will dry out and get freezer burn if you don't. You can't leave them in the trays or whatever. you have to seal them up, get the air out of there, and but the whole thing of freezing them first before putting them into your plastic bags will allow you, if you want to, if you have one of those food saver things, you could actually shrink wrap them and pull a lot of air out of there, and they'll store for a couple of years probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a food sealer.
there you go. Yeah, once they're frozen, vacuum pack them, and you'll probably be. That'd
Yeah,
just be perfect.
Yeah. So they said it's Bella's birthday today.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yes.
is Bella's birthday today. So if you guys see her all around, tell her happy birthday.
Yes.
I use my extra eggs to keep connection with my neighbors.
There you go.
Keep make sure they're all okay.
Yeah, we have our chickens lay throughout the year. I mean, even in the cold season, they'll lay. It just is not as much.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah,
I'm
let
gonna
him think
jump
you're
off
nuts,
here.
Lucy.
I'm going to jump off here, folks. Okay, so I wanted to wish everybody a great and blessed day. Okay, remember
You
to
as
use
well,
your
Pappy.
power. Okay, and because some of us could use a good recharge once in a while, so it's good for us to come together here and share each other's power.
Thank you, Pappy.
Thank
Love you,
you.
Pappy.
Have a good day.
Have a
Bye.
blessed day. Love and light. Yeah,
Oh, my
it's getting to
goodness.
be about that time where everybody likes to head over to Riddles. If you guys want to still hang out, we can still hang out for a little bit. That's up to you.
That's fine.
I'm game for whatever.
Yeah, we didn't all get our late night hangout last night, so
Yeah.
I know. And
I missed all you guys. I was looking.
What
for
time did you do it, Bonnie?
I don't know. I have no excuse. I
I
just
think it
didn't
was just
feel
the
like
energy.
it.
I
Yeah.
think it was just like Pappy was talking about. It was just the energy of yesterday.
And then I never do this. I totally overslept this morning. I did not wake up till 10 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And
You must
so
have
I
needed
was
it.
like-
That's good.
and that's what I thought. I must have been just like needing a charge because I fell asleep listening to Hawk. He started going on earlier than he used to, and I didn't realize that. And so since nobody was live, we're going to have to say something to that redhead. She needs to quit changing.
Well,
So she
you
said
know,
she was going up and then she didn't, and then she said she was going up and then she didn't.
Yeah.
And she had a stream up to go for yesterday. But I was checking with her. I even messaged her and she never got back to me at all.
Yeah. And I didn't, once I saw that Hawk was alive, I was like, oh, I want to listen to Hawk because I just like listening to Hawk too.
yeah.
Hawk is a very calming voice that
Oh gosh, yes.
it calms you down and gets you centered, and
Yep.
like you, Heather, it's the same kind of. Except sometimes you excite me, so hey, because of the things you're saying.
I'm just a person. I'm just a person with some weird thoughts. I've been called a weirdo my whole life. I finally feel like I met all my favorite weirdos though. So I love you guys.
I've been a weirdo my whole life too, so hey.
Hey, I
A
gotta say
weirdo,
something real
black
quick.
sheep.
I gotta say something real quick to chat because they're talking about the food savers, and Greta was talking about you can dehydrate eggs. That would be my personal preference rather than freezing because freezer space is limited. So dehydration,
How
I love
on
my
earth
dehydrator.
do you dehydrate an egg?
You
With powdered-
scramble them up.
Yep.
And then you have to you do it like you would a fruit leather, right? Just like you do like the fruit leathers. And you put down a sheet of parchment paper and put it up the sides, and then pour your egg mixture in there and let it dehydrate. But the other thing I wanted to say about those food savers, you guys, if you have the tops for the vacuum sealing, like the tops for your Masons, right? The regular and the wide mouth, you can use those with a handheld brake. Help me out, guys. Manual brake
I have no
bleeder.
idea what you're talking about.
It's a manual brake bleeder. You can find them for around $20, or at least you could before all the crap started.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have a manual brake bleeder, you can vacuum seal mason jars by hand without electricity using the accompanying things. Thank you, Lucy. I was getting there. But yeah, so those are something, they're relatively inexpensive, but good to have on hand.
And that's called a what? A something bleeder.
A manual brake bleeder. Manual. It's got to be a manual one, which is a hand pump. Like you got to use your hands and pump it. But it'll vacuum seal. You can vacuum seal your mason jars, even if you don't have electricity with that.
That's a tool us mechanics have to have now because we can't find no help. Nobody wants to learn mechanics no more. That's how you learn.
That's my son. He's a mechanic.
Yep, that's how you learn. Pumping the brakes.
Back in the day, I used to be able to work on all my own cars.
Yep.
And then I had a large period of time where I was away from all that. And then I came back out to looking at a car and going, what the what? Because everything was so computerized and everything's changed so much in vehicles. Because it used to be, I'd buy a 70s or an 80s car and I could work on it. I could look it up and I could work on it. I could look in the manual and it'd give me instructions. I remember 5 months pregnant with my youngest son. I'm out there changing a starter on the car. You know what I mean? It was not a big deal. Nobody taught me. I taught myself. So.
Right. I used to be
can't
under my
do
hood
that,
all the
man.
time.
It's not the same now. It's really not.
My son doesn't like using, how you have to use the computer to tell you what's wrong with the car.
Yeah.
My son hates that.
Oh yeah.
He went away to school for the company that he works with for Toyota. And they're telling him okay, using the computer, find out what's wrong with this car, blah, blah, blah. The first group took 3.5 freaking hours using the computer to figure out what was wrong with that car. My son said, fuck that shit.
You got to learn 5 new computer languages just to read the computer.
Yep.
He goes, start the car. And he's listening. Do this, do that. And the guy did this and did that. And he went under and did this and did that. And he goes, okay, it's fixed. And the guy goes, you did that in 20 minutes. It should have taken you an hour, at least an hour, using the computer. He goes, you didn't even use the computer. Rayvon goes, why use something that's just stupid anyway? It takes more fucking time than it does to use your head.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got a friend that's a mechanic that does that. He can listen to your car and tell you what's wrong with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You too.
That's what my son is like.
Yep. That's what I do.
The way they make them now, my Saturn, I had a burnt out headlight. And so you go to YouTube and you look up, how do you change out the headlight? Because I'm looking in there and I can't find any way to get to it.
Right.
It says to take off the whole fender over the tire and go through that way. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? To change a little bulb.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they make bulbs now that if you touch them with your fingers, if the oils of your skin get on them, that they won't work. So if you put in a new bulb without the right gloves on or something, I think that's just utterly ridiculous.
Yes, and that's what happened. My ex-husband changed the bulbs and it wouldn't work. So I went down to the tire place and this little guy, he just reached in there and changed it all fine. He didn't have to take the car apart to put it in there. And I was like, you are my light guy from now on. Because he has little bitty hands and he could reach in there.
Right on.
But
Yeah.
that's, they try to make it more difficult than it needs to be a lot of times
definitely.
too.
They don't want you working on your own vehicle.
Welcome to my world.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
And-
why I kind of don't do it no more. It's just, I can fix your car for $12 part, but it's going to take a week to put it in.
Yeah.
Right. 'Cause you got to tear out the whole dashboard to change one fuse.
Yeah, right. When the Santa
Which is
Rosa fire
ridiculous.
a few years ago, that big Santa Rosa fire in California, our
Mhm.
stepson brought his car over. He said, "You're a mechanic. Can you help me change the heater core?" I'm like, "Sure. They're easy.
No.
They're easy. Yeah, right.
You-
Not on a Mercury Marquis. You have to take the whole entire dashboard off,
oh my goodness.
and I mean the whole dashboard. I used to have pictures of it.
Yeah.
Just to change the heater core. It's crazy.
Wow.
They don't want you working on your car no more. Period.
No. And that's I'm gonna sell my car. Now I have a Ford Edge, but I call it a spaceship. It's a push button start, and it's gonna take me forever to figure out all that computer stuff. I still don't know it, and I've had it over a year, and it's like I really don't like this car. So
Now, I like older stuff just because
Yeah.
it doesn't have all that computerized crap in it. Because, and I guess that's just always been the way I've been. It's just, computers have been failing since the inception of them, and so when you have all these computerized parts, if one fails, it messes up all the rest of the computerized parts. So
true.
now
the-
it's just like
The problem's going to be getting the parts for the older cars.
well, a lot of the parts for older cars can be rebuilt, right, Robert?
True.
Like you can just pull them out and clean them and put them back together on a lot of the older stuff.
Yeah. I love the older stuff.
I'm ready to go back to horse and buggy.
Yeah, well, we have them around here. Hey, listen, if your food sealer's not working and you still want to seal your bags, there's a good way to do that. Now, it won't vacuum out all the air, but if you get as much of the air out as you can, and then you can use parchment paper around the edge of the plastic bag and run your iron on it.
Iron,
Yep.
flat iron.
Put a towel down on your countertop before you do that. Yeah, flat iron, curling iron, any of that'll work.
Yep.
Ooh, curling iron probably work really well if you had one to just dedicate to that. But that plastic's going to stink.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yep. I think I've seen them do that with oxygen absorbers too.
You can make your own oxygen absorbers for like pennies.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Hey guys, I got to run out and grab some firewood, so it's all on you.
Okay.
Well,
I'll
that's
be right back in.
Bonnie, when you were talking about trying to control the stuff around you,
hmm
do you notice how people are worried about those ships out? Oh, they're not coming into port. Well, look around yourself. We don't need that stuff that's on the ship. We're doing just fine right now.
Yes.
We don't even need that stuff. And just look how many people are just freaked out about that.
But you know what? That's what's weird. They're not even distributing it to the stores when it is coming onto port. They're stockpiling it in warehouses.
Right. So we don't
Wow.
even need it. So apparently we don't need it. Whatever's on them ship.
I thought the stuff was still staying on the boats because the stuff couldn't come into the States because they're from China.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't either.
But apparently we don't need it.
Right.
People are just freaked out about it. Well, that's a created distraction.
Yeah.
I posted a thing on my Facebook and it said, you know what makes us not worry about the cargo ships? And then it says made in America.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not worried about them.
There's no reason we're not doing that.
No. It's like the cars. We just talked about the cars, how you can't even work on them no more. It's all plan. That has to be a plan.
Yes.
Well, Lovebug says they put all the computer stuff in vehicles to tax us per miles and turn off your cars if your social credit score goes down.
Oh, wow.
Why is that what
believe
you're
it.
doing in China, Lovebug?
The onset of all that was supposed to be about fuel efficiency, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But what it really was, if you think about the time that all that stuff started coming out, was the time that we started giving up all of our manufacturing to other countries.
Yes.
Mhm. Yep. Well, our prime minister has pretty near stopped all of our oil from being produced in Canada.
Wow.
We are getting oil from Saudi Arabia, oil and gas and all that shit from Saudi Arabia,
You mean
and
from the
we have oil in Alberta. It's so stupid.
Oh, love pugs. All right, so hold on a second here. Hold on. Cat's jumping at the door. Let me show her this here. Ugh. All right, I'm going to do a little quick review of the oxygen absorbers again. Okay, so see that oxygen absorber? I'm going to tell you what that is. That is a coffee filter with scent-free cat litter crystals, which is just silica. That's all it is. But that's how you can buy it as cat litter for about $5. Small-ish bag. It's not actually small. I mean, it's like, I want to say like maybe a 10-pounder bag. And then you buy yourself some coffee filters for $1 and one of them little mini school staplers for like $1. And then you put the crystals inside the coffee filter, you staple it together, and you use it in your food.
Can you take it out of the jar for a second?
I think I've got this one sealed.
I want to smoke some of that.
This is cauliflower. This is cauliflower, and I didn't cook it first. So I can use it still in soups and stuff. It's just discolored. It's sealed.
Okay.
I had to get
I'm
it
just
after
trying to
the
get a
body.
good look at it. That's all. Okay.
See, it's
All
the
right.
cat litter crystals inside the coffee filter.
And you put that in like your sugars and stuff like that?
Wherever you would use an oxygen absorber. Also, if you have old oxygen absorbers from like shoes or clothes or other stuff,
Your vitamins.
right, your vitamins, anything that has those little oxygen, if they are swollen and they look like they're used up, instead of throwing them out, put them on a baking tray, stick them in the oven at the lowest temperature that your oven will go, like 170, 180 degrees Fahrenheit, because we don't do Celsius in the United States. I don't know the correlation. I'm sorry.
It doesn't
But-
matter. I use Fahrenheit too. My daughter uses Celsius, but I use Fahrenheit.
I know in sugar, they used to put crackers in sugar, but I don't think that they do the oxygen absorbers in sugar because you want to absorb moisture, not oxygen.
Okay.
When it comes to sugar, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, LHS says not in sugar, it will get rock hard. Okay.
Yeah.
My sugar gets rock hard anyway.
Rice.
And cut it up
Is
into
it rice?
cubes.
Put your sugar in a bag and then open a bag of rice and put it alongside of it.
Yeah, that was with salt too.
Yeah. You want to keep the moisture out, not the oxygen. Now with foods, like if you're storing dehydrated foods or something, you're going to want an oxygen absorber in there just to help to keep the
Mold.
levels down, you know, because it'll make your food spoil a little bit quicker.
And
Sorry,
it's
guys.
scent-free cat litter.
Yep.
But it seems like the staple would let air into the absorber. Is that okay?
You don't want to get the clay. You want to get the cat litter crystals,
Yeah.
Cat
which is it's
litter
just silica.
Yep.
Crystals. Yeah.
Right, but the stapling it, that doesn't let air in there. And is it okay if it does?
I mean, the staples aren't going to hurt anything. You're only stapling the filter. The filter, hold on. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The filter is a free floating thing in there. Oh, sorry,
Right.
I'm not real good with that bit. So really the staples are just keeping the crystals inside the coffee. You can do it with tape. I wouldn't advise doing any kind of glue or adhesive because they are, even if you can't smell it over time, they release fumes. Adhesives, all adhesives do it.
Chemicals.
So you don't want to put that in with your food. Okay. But you could use tape. Just be sparing. All you're doing is keeping the crystals inside of the coffee filter so they don't mingle with your food. That's all you're doing. Creating a little envelope. If you're really good at folding, you could probably make the entire thing without even a staple.
That's probably not for me. I have a tendency to get a little overzealous when I'm trying to do shit.
And you can make, well, the beauty of doing it that way is that you can make as big or as little an oxygen absorber as you need for whatever project you're doing.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
Pretty.
You painting?
I did that last night, yeah.
Wow.
oh, gorgeous. Hold on. Let me put you up there.
There you go. That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's gorgeous.
Awesome job, Brenda.
Wow.
Heck yeah, girl.
One of the other ones I got that I really, really enjoy looking at is one I just picked up at the dollar store. It was like this cabin house, whatever, had a yard or whatever. And I did it as a winter scene, but I added shaving cream to my white paint so that it was thicker. Oh my God, it's the most beautiful picture I've ever seen. I love it.
Wow.
Awesome.
Cool.
And of course, you had to have that glittery snow, the snow glitter. I had to have that in there. Oh man, it looks so pretty. I'll have to show you that. I'll have to find that one. Hi, Rainy. How are ya?
Hi, Rena.
How on earth did you come up with the idea of shaving cream in the paint to make it?
Well, shaving cream is thicker than paint,
Well, yeah, but
so I just mixed the two together.
So
You never know what the hell I'm going to come up with. You know that, right?
if I need my paint thicker,
Awesome.
if I need my paint thicker, I pour it out and then I wait like a half an hour, 30 minutes till it gets a little skin on it. And then I peel the skin off and I let it, because as it dries, the liquid in the paint, it'll thicken up real good for you.
yeah.
But I wanted the.
Plus, I don't have shaving cream, so.
Oh, well, I bought it special. I went to the dollar store and bought it special. I'm like, I bought the picture and I'm like, I'm going to do a winter scene. I need fluffy paint. Shaving cream, here we come.
Fluffy, fluffy, fluffy.
Great idea. Are we having a hug fest? Aw.
Hot dogs for you.
I love that
Oh.
you're in your jammy bottoms. So am I.
I stay in jammy bottoms. They're comfortable.
Yep. I get home from work, I change into my pajama bottoms.
I just like hanging out in dresses.
Yeah, she likes. Show him your dress. She likes a really simple dress. I mean, it's like 2 panels and some cap sleeves. That's it.
Yeah.
But these are the most comfortable dresses she's ever. She loves these things. Loves them. I
So
thought,
she
ooh,
doesn't
that makes
dress
life
all-
so much better.
Look at her. She's all comfortable back there.
She doesn't dress all wintry like you do.
No, she's my polar bear. She's my polar bear. I don't know how, but she just doesn't get cold like I do at all. Hardly ever.
That's
Very
so
rarely. I'll feel her skin and I'll be like, "Oh, you're so cold." She'd be like, "Mom, I'm not cold. I'm comfortable."
Oh,
Yep.
She's always been that way, though. And I've always been one of those, like, oh, fall's here. I can start wearing coats and hoodies and things. I'll wear flannels in summer, though, so.
I was totally panicked about winter clothes. Remember, I've been saying
oh yeah.
I was even going to tell Gigi, I will send you money if you will shop for me stuff and mail it to me. And so I started going through my closet again. Like I do this about every month, keep going through my closet. And I have plenty of sweaters. I have flannel lined, I don't know what you call them. To me, they're like pantyhose, but they're not.
Flannel line tights. Those are
Yeah.
perfect for the winter.
Yeah. Put
But-
pants over them.
You have to wear something over them, don't you?
Mm-hmm. When it gets cold,
Yeah.
you can.
Throw a pair of
Okay.
jeans over them.
Yeah.
So
Listen, in
that's
in
what I need.
Ohio-
is jeans.
In Ohio, we're taught to layer our clothes in the wintertime. If you're going to go out and play in the snow, you got to wear layers, right? It's always been that way. Layers on layers. So,
I'm
in-
Texas. I'm just learning.
right. Well, winter clothes in Ohio, like when you pull out your winter clothes, those are the jeans that are a little bit bigger, the pants that are a little bit more, like they have elastic in the waistband, that kind of thing, because
Right.
you know you're going to put layers on under them and you're going to tuck everything in. So that's, it's not like we have special, I mean, you can buy special clothes. If I lived in Canada or like where Pappy's at in Massachusetts, where it gets real cold and a lot of snow and stuff,
Yes.
I would probably have more than 2 pairs of flannel lined jeans, but I have 2 pairs because those are, for working in outside, and you can get those from like LL Bean, or you can go to, you have a shoe store that sells like work boots. You might be able to get yourself some wool socks there, or Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply always has woolen socks for wintertime and hats.
Yeah, I can't wear wool.
You got to do like I do.
Wear
Take your-
something under it.
Yeah, take your favorite sweats, tuck them in your socks, put a pair of jeans over them. There you go. That's what I do.
Boom.
That's exactly what I do.
And that's what I told the girls. I said, okay, well, during the summer or usually during the winter, all I ever wear is those leggings. They're like jeggings, I guess you would call them. But I learned last February that was not even nothing. It's like wearing nothing. And so I was like, I don't have anything big enough to wear over them, and you darn sure can't wear anything under them.
Like you
So,
put a pair of long johns on underneath them.
so that's what I told the girls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get me some of those flannel, not flannel. What are they called? Thermal underwear.
Yep.
The long pants and the thermal shirt. And,
Yeah, you get yourself some thermal underwear and you'll be set.
That's
And
and
you can buy them. The whole
jeans.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
stuff's
Raina
itchy.
used to just sleep in them when she was little.
It makes me itchy.
Thermals?
I
Gotta
am,
get a good set.
I'm so.
And Bonnie, a word of advice from a Canadian:
Mhm.
don't buy female thermal underwear. Buy
Nope.
male thermal underwear
cotton,
Yes.
mostly cotton if you can.
Yes.
because the male thermal underwear is warmer than the female thermal underwear.
And they're made more comfortably because
Isn't
they
that
feel
weird?
like every female is a toothpick. And I, for one, do not have toothpick legs at all. And I cannot fit female thermal underwear because they are not made for real women.
Right.
Well, okay, women like me with big legs. Okay.
Well, me it was the job I was working at, I had to run outside all the time, and I'm like, I'm not going to freeze my ass off. The women's thermal underwear were for like a -10, okay, and the ones that I bought were the male thermal underwear for -40.
Alaska.
They're made more durable too. The men's are because they feel like the men are out working in the wintertime or
Right.
out hunting in the wintertime. And another thing, if you don't want to do thermal underwear, fuzzy pajama pants work well underneath a pair of jeans. Can't roll around in snow in them because you'll have little snowballs like stuck everywhere. But
Yeah. And I was going through my shoes and I have snow boots.
You have snow boots?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have those, but
I haven't worn winter boots in, oh Christ, probably 20 years. Oh no, I did 1 year. I
gotta have boots in the wintertime. I
I
gotta
just
have
wear-
the grip.
I just wear my running shoes.
wow.
Yep.
And my feet just
I gotta
freeze.
have the grip. Yeah, no. I
Sometimes
gotta have the
I have to wear a second pair of socks in them, but I just wear my running shoes.
Well,
Because I go from my house to my car, from my car to work.
you're
Um,
not out in it long enough.
no, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
And
You
they're
see,
like,
now,
Dorinda, don't you have to change your shoes? I said, don't you have to take your boots off? I said, I didn't wear boots. I just wore my shoes. They're like, you
but if
didn't
you're
wear
gonna be
boots.
out, if you're gonna be out walking in it, you're gonna want to make sure that whatever you have has grip.
Yeah.
And
If you're doing more than from door to door.
and have some with you just in case emergency.
Yeah, I do have winter boots here. I just choose not to wear them.
Right.
That's why I got the snow boots, because I had Walmart had these. They were fur lined black boots, but the soles are slick. And so I found out when it got icy, those were not good to have.
No.
You just slide all over the place. And
Well,
Yeah,
so
you have something
I got
real
If they're
tread.
really, really slick, you can cut them with a knife and put some grips in them.
Yeah.
I've done that.
You can
Well, I
get
didn't
screw-in
even think about
spikes
that.
too. You can get little screw-in spikes too, and screw them into the. I wouldn't do it with Walmart boots. They're not exactly a good quality sole, but you can
Right.
get little
But you
screw-in
can-
snow spikes for
At
your
the,
boots.
at the dollar store, you can buy the spike things that are like on elastic or whatever, and you can just put them under your boot.
I
Like
love Pug.
slip-on things.
I
Or
used to
ju-
only wear combat boots. I don't own a pair anymore. I wish I did. I love combat boots. They're good for every occasion.
Yes.
And then you can always put a piece of duct tape on the bottom too if you're going inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I told the girls. We're not dressing for fashion anymore. We're dressing for necessity.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. This year she can fit all my stuff, so if she needs boots, she can even borrow mom's boots this year.
Wow. Yeah. I was panicking for nothing though. I
Yeah.
think I can just get some.
See, I told you you know more than you know.
Well, my daughter was up cleaning the attic, and she found this box of sweatshirts of mine.
Oh wow.
Okay, I didn't even know. I forgot I even had them.
Mhm.
Okay, the box said 2001 on it. I have sweatshirts now.
And I'm fine with that too. Just wearing sweats,
Yep.
and then you can put thermals under them.
Yep. It's just about layering. That's all it
Yeah.
really is.
Yep.
And Robert's in an area, he probably gets some good snow too, don't you?
No, I don't get none.
You don't get any? Oh, you're tucked back in a nice little spot then, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's in California.
Yeah, but he's Northern
I'm
California.
Way,
I know
way-
Oregon, Washington gets snow.
I bet you 10 miles up they get snow.
Yeah,
But not,
I bet
not
you.
here. Not here though.
A little pocket of paradise.
I keep thinking, they've been manipulating the weather for so long. Okay? If they actually stop manipulating the weather, would Canada get as much snow and shit as it does?
Probably
I don't know.
Weather?
I think most.
That's what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying. Here, we usually do not freeze more than, for sure, under a month. I mean, maybe a couple of weeks out of the year. But they're saying we're going to have a really hard, wet winter. And so that's why I'm trying to prepare, because it doesn't sound good.
You got to be careful of the more, I think, of your roadways down there probably than much else. And I say that because when I lived in North Carolina, everybody would say, during a downpour, you don't drive on the roads, you don't drive on the highways. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm from Ohio. We drive in like all weather. We don't care. Right.
Yes.
And then, right. Well, and then it was pouring down rain one night and I just about wrecked the car because the oils on the roadways
Yes.
were coming out and making it so slick. Like it was like driving on ice. And
Our
I thought, well,
roads,
what the heck? So you probably have different roadways down there in the wintertime than we have up here too.
yes, they're made completely different than in the north. And that's what happens. That when it gets hot, that oil comes up to the top. And when it first starts raining is the worst. And there are so many wrecks all the time because people start hydroplaning because they're not slowing down. And
Right.
they hit those oil spots and you can't control it. You're going to start spinning.
And
Same
so
with
It's
here.
it's the same with the winter. Our roads are not used to that cold either. And that's what happened back in February. There were wrecks like crazy. Well, even if it ices over, when you look at the Austin news, those overpasses, there are cars just piled sitting there at the bottom of that overpass because they can't get up it. It is so slick that there's no way they can get up those overpasses. So it's pretty much shutting us down when we get bad weather.
yeah. Said it gets like that where you're at too, Robert.
Yep. You don't
Is it
have
the
to
salt?
worry. You don't have
Because
to
you
worry
guys are
about
supposed.
it's the as soon as it rains, man, it's like ice. Just
Yes.
like Bonnie said, then they wipe out,
Yeah.
It's from the oils, not from the wet. Nothing. It's really
Our
weird.
highways, they spray saline and they drop salt on our highways up here every year. And on our dirt roads, they drop gravel or ash, wood ash on the roads. And so,
Yeah, they don't do
I
that
know,
here.
yeah, well, that's the difference too, is like, I remember in my youth when we were buying used cars, you'd make sure where it was from. All right. Well, if it's from the north, you check for rust, right? You make sure the frame's in good shape. If it's from the south, you check for sand in the engine because the body will be beautiful. But if you buy one from the north, the body might look like crap, but the engine will still be excellent. You know what I mean? So it was always like the weighing.
Well, that's kind of the way it is here. If you get it from the coast, you worry about the rust because down by the coast, the salt air.
Water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Out here, you got to look at your paint job because the sun bakes the paint right off of these cars. So same as Colorado
Yes,
in high
Wow.
elevation.
and it looks all. It's like a black. I don't know what you call it, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the clear coat burns off.
Yes.
And then
Yeah,
it goes
I got
into weird.
the car we got right now. Some student had it in Florida before I bought it, and the whole hood is all like burnt off. It's so crappy looking. But I don't really care what a car looks like, so long as it runs good. And I only paid $600 for it, so I have well gotten that money back. For
I
sure.
don't know, Love Bug. I don't know if it melts the ice and snow, but it gives you traction.
Yeah,
wood
it gives
ash.
us traction on our dirt roads, pugs, and it also, because it's black, there are certain areas like on these dirt roads that wrap around the hills where I'm at that stay in shadow all winter long. So it'll give traction in those areas because those areas stay icy like well into March and sometimes April. Even after everything else is melted, you'll still have ice roads on some of the dirt roads that way. But then when the sun does hit them, it because it's black, it does help melt it a little bit. So
Weird.
Yeah.
all right. Well, you guys, here, why don't we go ahead and wrap up? I got to get dinner on for the family, and
I know.
I love y'all. I love
We
hanging
could
out
talk
with you
all
guys.
day.
I know, right? I mean, I could go about making dinner, and we could just keep it up and chat, but that's up to you guys.
No, we need to let you go.
Good seeing you guys today.
It's very good to see you guys too. Thank you so much.
So, what's the plan for tonight, guys? Are we meeting at Bonnie's if Gigi doesn't come on, or what are we doing?
If Gigi doesn't
Yes.
come on, I will open up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
I don't have to work in the morning, so I'm not going to bed by 10.
Y'all don't leave me
Wow.
talking to myself for 30 minutes, though.
Well, it helps if you turn it on,
I know. I forget that little red button.
I did that a whole bunch in the beginning, remember? It'll be okay. All right. Well, I love y'all. Do you guys have any final thoughts for today?
Stay blessed, stay positive, let
Yep.
your light shine.
Yep.
Yes, definitely let your light shine.
Make your family bigger. You can't.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
Right.
Yes.
And don't be distracted.
And all of y'all in chat with all those good ideas. Love y'all.
Yes. Thank you all.
Love you guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Love and light to you all. And we will see you around the venues.
Spread some
All right.
love. Spread some love.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.